Welcome, 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 welcome. Let's see what's going on in the world. Let's go to Fox News today. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to Fox News just to show you how crazy this shit is. That's old shit. Let's see what Fox News is talking about, John.
President Trump is speaking now in the Oval Office at an executive order signing. Let's listen in.
Do you have anything to say about that?
Sir, I think you need to put this in the context of everything else that's happening. Manufacturing productivity is the highest it's been in years. We haven't seen any growth like this for forever. Under President Biden, the last part of his presidency, he lost 220,000 manufacturing jobs. The president has stabilized this. Now the manufacturing jobs are going up. So all of these indicators on manufacturing are happening, and it's because of tariffs, it's because of trade actions, it's because of the investment credits you've given people, the tax credits, everything you're doing, the energy policy, all of it is bringing manufacturing back here, protecting American workers and American jobs.
Well, tariffs are bringing us hundreds of billions of dollars worth of dollars. I mean, just money, the money that we've never seen anything like it with no inflation. By the way, everyone said, oh, there'll be inflation. We have very low inflation. We brought inflation way down.
Bullshit.
I inherited the worst inflation in the history of our country. They say 48 years, but
And y'all do know that those are lies.
I say the history of our country and from the Biden administration, and we're bringing it way down. So the numbers that beyond the money.
Carpe diem, what it do, man?
Being brought in. The number of factories being built in our country is more now than we have ever seen before. There's never been anything like it. And you're going to see the results. And you're seeing the results already in construction jobs because they're being built all over the country. But in another year, as they start to open, there's never been, we call it the golden age of America, and that's what it is. Now, if we could talk, Steve, maybe you could discuss what we're dealing with on birthright citizenship. We had a very unfortunate decision in the Supreme Court concerning birthright. It was close, but a very, very unfortunate decision. So we're making adjustments because it's very unfair. This was done for a different reason. This was done right after the Civil War. This was for the babies of slaves. And what's happening now, people are building businesses around it. From wealthy people are building businesses around birthright citizenship. That's not the way it's supposed to work. It's a disgrace. They're buying their way in, and we're not going to let it happen. So, Steve, if you will, please.
Yes, so today the president signed these two executive orders here relating to birthright citizenship and birth tourism. As the president mentioned, the 14th Amendment was passed exclusively in the aftermath of the Civil War so that to ensure that the children of slaves would be citizens. It had no other meaning and purpose outside of that. And that's been clear, obviously, since the day that it was passed. You can go back and you can read the congressional debates. This is not something that's even seriously contested by anybody. The president is using his authority as commander-in-chief to sign first an executive order using the new ruling the Supreme Court issued to expand the definitions of people who are ineligible for birthright citizenship. That includes, for example, alien enemies of the United States, members of foreign terrorist organizations, and large categories of people who lobby and act on behalf of foreign governments. And so with taking this action, it ensures that large numbers of people who wrongly would be getting birthright citizenship will no longer be eligible for those benefits. The second action that he's taking, which is especially historic, is for the first time ever in American history to ban birth tourism. So I want you to really let that sink in. This has been something that people have talked about not only for years, but for decades. The idea that people come here pretending to be a tourist, pretending to be a visitor, saying they want to go to Disneyland, they want to go visit a monument or go to a national park, but the real reason they're here is to have a child, to make that child an automatic citizen, leave our country, and then have a U.S. citizen child. It gives them access under this broken system to welfare benefits, ultimately to the voting booth, and all the other rights and privileges that belong solely to Americans. So that practice of birth tourism is, as of the signing of this order, hereby banned. And what that means is that no one in the world is any more allowed to obtain a visa for this fraudulent purpose. It is probably, and President Trump has done many historic things on immigration.
Grow the fuck up. I love Trump. Grow the fuck up.
Too many to list now. Seal the southern border shut, record deportations, record integrity, stopping foreign terrorist entry, record reduction in drug seizures, dismantling criminal cartels, dismantling the gangs, right? Everything he's done that has been so unprecedented. I would put this in the top 3 in terms of importance because it ends what has been one of the gravest and most egregious abuses of the American system, and it keeps American citizens.
Keep that same energy, bitch. You going out.
You can beat cancer and still lose everything. Or you can have
Sacred.
Good job on being a fucking rotten ass person, you pedophile protectors. Good job being a weirdo protector. Shout out to all y'all weirdos that's protecting weirdos that do weirdo shit.
Thank you. Okay?
Mr. President.
That's big stuff. That's a big deal. Please, go ahead.
Thank you.
Sim.
On the birth tourism
Shout out to you,
executive order,
Sim. What up?
What are the plans for enforcement in terms of cracking down on birth tourism hotels that's common in parts of
So we're
California?
cracking down very big, big crackdowns, and this will give us the right to do it in a much more forceful manner. But they've taken birthright citizenship and they've made a joke out of it. And we're actually the only country of size, I think just about the only country, period, that does birthright citizenship. I thought we were going to win it at the Supreme Court. Unfortunately, we...
NAGA or MAGA? Because I fuck with NAGAs.
had a bad decision, very unfair decision. Our country suffers because of it, and we're ending it a different way.
Mr. President.
Mr. President, at the Supreme Court,
Same thing with me,
John
Sim. I'm
Sauer,
taking a break,
Solicitor
man.
General, did
Entertaining
not
the
have an
people.
answer as to how many individuals take advantage of birth tourism. Is there a number that you
I'll
can
tell you
cite?
right now, hundreds of thousands.
Smash that like button, y'all. Smash that like button. Let's go.
Okay? Hundreds of thousands. You have one man came in with a family, said he had 56 children. Another one came in, they said they had 98 children. This was not what it was for. This was meant for the babies of slaves. It was right after 1 week or 2 weeks after the Civil War ended. This wasn't for wealthy multi-millionaires, billionaires coming in and bringing 15, 20, 30 children along with them. It's become a big business, and we're ending that business, please.
What makes you confident, Mr. President, that this will pass constitutional muster?
I think it will. I think, in fact, I asked a very talented person named Will Scharf, who's standing right behind me. And do you want to discuss that, Will? You felt pretty strongly about it.
The law is absolutely clear. What we're talking about, as Stephen said, with respect to birth tourism, something that used to happen incidentally, where somebody who happened to be on vacation here went into labor early and had a baby. This was sort of a relatively small problem. What we've seen in recent years, though, is organized rings, at times criminal rings, setting up a system whereby tens, hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of people can come to this country in an organized fashion and give birth here purely for the sake of obtaining birthright citizenship. This order takes a number of different actions intended to combat those sorts of organized practices. We look very heavily at denying visas to people that we have reason to believe are coming here for that purpose. Visas both for putative parents, but also for the people organizing these rings. There's also obviously a law enforcement component. We'll have a full fact sheet released on this soon, but what we're doing is taking legally validated means that are clearly within our disposal and targeting them square on to this birth tourism industry. There's absolutely nothing in here that runs afoul of any of the Supreme Court's opinions on the subject. This is frankly, it's action that's overdue, and I'm thankful that President Trump is finally taking decisive action to combat this issue of birth tourism now that it's been queued up in the way that it has as a result of the Supreme Court's opinion.
This should have been done a long time ago. This should have happened years ago, but we're taking care of it now, please.
Thank you. Can you help us understand how you distinguish between a tourist and a birth tourist?
Well, I'll let you discuss it, please.
Yes, happy to. And so, by the way, that's an excellent presentation.
Thank you, Stephen.
For those of you who want to do your research on this, Section 215A of the Immigration and National.
You might not be losing hope, but you're losing fucking brains. You big fucking dummy. Fuck you. Fuck your cars. Fuck everything about you. You fucking piece of shit.
Nationality Act gives the president this authority. 215A of the Immigration and Nationality Act. Very rarely used, probably one of the strongest laws in the entire federal code, gives him this power. And that's not the only, but it's the main statutory authority that's being used in this order. So birth tourism is by definition a fraud on the American system, on the American taxpayer, on the American visa. If you're coming here, and again, your stated purpose is that you're a tourist, then by definition...
How the fuck is... Listen, first of all, you know who getting the most welfare and benefits from the American tax dollars? Can you guess, you big dummy? Per diddle. You. 9 times out of 10 is you. But it's definitely conservatives, it's definitely conservative states, and it's definitely MAGA. So while you talking about somebody get out, you do the least, receive the most, and still in the fucking position you in.
You are here to come for a few weeks, look at what we have, engage in commerce, and leave. So if you're telling a consular officer you're here as a...
Tell them again, Aaron, red states. Red states receive the most fucking welfare. We done already did this earlier today. Mississippi, Kentucky, Louisiana, West Virginia, Oklahoma, Alabama, broke ass motherfucking states. And they all red. They all receive the most fucking welfare, and they're predominantly whitey. All red. Fuck you mean bullshit? Pull it up then, donkey ass. The top 20 states that receive welfare benefits, EBT, SNAP benefits. All red states, Florida, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Florida, Massachusetts, it's only like 3 Democratic states in the whole fucking top 20. Broke ass Republicans is voting against that. If you're not a billionaire, it ain't helping you to be no fucking Republican right now. I don't know, but Nebraska fucking broke. No motherfucking jobs in Nebraska. Who the fuck is moving to Nebraska for jobs? They don't move to no red states for jobs, because red states ain't got no fucking jobs. Yeah, Florida already flipped blue. Michigan already flipped blue. You see what's happening in Michigan and all those states up there, the Motor City. Their fucking industry left and been left. Real shit. The red states is y'all the ones. Y'all ain't contributing shit. Y'all not contributing as much. There ain't no big business in no fucking red states. What red states got big businesses? And then I'll name you 10 fucking cities that's blue that got big business going on. Y'all tripping. Red states ain't doing nothing but collecting welfare. Mississippi, Alabama, Kentucky, Oklahoma, Louisiana, New Mexico. The list is so fucking long, it's crazy. The list is so fucking long, it's crazy. And I'm calling this shit off the top of my head. Look. Mississippi and Arkansas, all that shit, they broke as fuck. No motherfucking body moving there for jobs. People moved to my state for jobs. A blue state. And your state ain't blue, who the fuck is coming there to work? No motherfucking body. Majority of whiteys go to work every day. You a motherfucking lie. That's what you, the last time you was told some bullshit. Because if you always been getting the most welfare, then obviously you ain't never been the hardest worker. Never. In the history of America, motherfucker, was you ever the hardest worker. Never. Let's get that shit straight. Let's get that shit all the way straight. Dang, he said 2 times that of Haiti. But yeah, y'all motherfuckers need to go somewhere with that bullshit. For real.
Tourist. But your true purpose and intent
all y'all gotta do is
to
look
go
it up,
to a baby mill, give birth, and try to mint an American citizen while you're here, then you're committing a fraud against the American government. And
but
by
I know.
definition, that visa
I
can
know
and
what the
should
top
and will
20
be now
brokest
denied.
motherfucking states is.
Mr. President, there is a
Top
report
20
that
welfare
you told
recipient
donors that
states.
they need to
I
get
know.
J.D. Vance elected in 2028. Is that your official
They all red
endorsement?
states.
No, it's
Like I said, out of the
I
whole
heard about
top
it a
20,
little while ago. I think
like
he's
two
great.
of them, 2 or 3.
We're way too early
They
to
blue
even
state.
be thinking about that.
One of them is
And
New
then,
York. I
Mr.
think Massachusetts
President,
is a blue
Republicans
state.
are arguing a lot right now
Massachusetts
about
a blue state, y'all?
affordability. What is your message on affordability going into the midterms?
Well, that's a good question, but it's sort of simple to answer. I inherited the highest prices ever. I inherited the worst inflation in the history of our country. And we have done an amazing job.
Well, good for you. That means I'm not talking to you, sir. Good for fucking you.
And oil prices now are coming down very rapidly. If you look at what's going on, it's down to 75. When I started the very important excursion into the Islamic Republic of Iran, it was a very important excursion because they can't have a nuclear weapon. Otherwise, the whole world would get blown up. We're not going to let that happen. Not only us, not only the Middle East, the whole world would have been, it would have been catastrophic. We had no choice. We had oil down to less than 2 in many places like Iowa. Oil was down to, gasoline was down at numbers that people hadn't seen in years. $1.85, $1.95. So it passed 2 states. I was in Iowa at a stop, and we had $1.95, another one $1.85 a gallon.
Want me to tell you who lives in
And we'll see
rent-free in
those
Trump
days
head?
pretty soon again, based on
me show
everything I see. as soon as the war ends, and I think it's going to end pretty soon. I don't think they can go much longer. Yeah, please.
Has a deal been reached to reopen the Strait of Hormuz?
Well, I don't want to say it has been. It's sort of open right now. You know, we have a thing called the blockade headed up by the U.S. Navy, and we control it. And now we control it, but they can always shoot something. They always have something or drop a mine. And if you have one mine sitting out there, you sort of mess things up because people don't want to take their billion.
That's who living rent-free in your president head.
Dollar boats and accidentally get hit by a mine. But I think we're doing very well. I just, I'm involved in the negotiation. I think we're doing fine. It could be soon, yeah.
Mr. President, have you lobbied any of the undecided Republicans who will vote tomorrow on Todd Blanche's nomination?
I will lobby if I need to. I will lobby very, very diligently.
This right here is very accurate. The Nobel Peace Prize winner. Smooth like blue suede shoes. Not on your whack 2 left feet shoe ass. I'm just saying. This is how Trump think about Obama. Y'all know where his other hand at, right? Huh? You see that? That boy ready to get busy. Little clean up.
He's outstanding. He should be good. I mean, I can't imagine he's as good.
This is his complete motivation for being a whack-ass president. He would never be this guy.
As there is in the country. People have such unbelievable respect for Todd Blanche, so hopefully that won't be necessary. I spoke to some people, I did, but hopefully it'll all work out very well for the country because you're not going to find better than Todd Blanche.
Will you reach out to Senator Murkowski, Senator Cassidy, for instance?
Let's see if we need anybody. I'll reach out to whoever I have to, but anybody voting against him would be doing a great disservice to the country, please.
Mr. President, the deadline for Representative Max Miller to withdraw from his race is coming up next week. Yeah. Do you believe he should withdraw this?
Well, I'm not going to get involved in that. It's a very sad situation, and I know Max very well, but it's very, very sad that a situation like that takes place. Yeah.
Do you think the DOJ should prosecute Dr. Fauci?
Well, they prosecuted Peter Navarro and they prosecuted Steve Bannon, 2 very decent people, over something that essentially was never prosecuted before. And there are sort of telltale signs of similarity. And they went to jail for a number of months over something that I saw one of the analysts said they used to laugh at it in the Justice Department when something like that was referred. But Merrick Garland prosecuted 2 very decent people and sent them to jail. I wasn't president. I would have given them a pardon in 2 seconds, but I wasn't. It was after I left. They waited till after I left, and then they prosecuted these 2 people, and they ought to be ashamed of themselves. So when you see that happen, you sort of say maybe he should. What he did is far more serious than a lot of crimes, frankly. But they prosecuted 2 people when nothing like that has ever taken place before.
Crazy. Must be an expensive game then.
No, bro, it's free to play.
Okay, well, there must be a lot of ads.
No ads.
So wait, you're telling me you can play it out here?
Yeah, bro, you can play it anywhere.
That sounds like I need to get this game.
Yeah, dude, download Whiteout Survival right now. You won't regret it.
President, on munitions, you posted overnight that the U.S. has a massive amount. You denied any shortages. There is a supplemental request for $21 billion to restock. So why is that request still there?
Well, because we need more all the time. I mean, we need more. Look, we gave tremendous amount to Ukraine. The Biden people did. And they were given free of charge, no charge, no charge, billions, hundreds of billions of dollars. And fortunately, I built up so much during my term. I rebuilt the military and also loaded it up with a lot of stuff. And we have certain types of munitions that are very powerful, that we have virtual unlimited supply. We have others where it's a little bit tighter, and we're getting them in on a daily basis. As you know, our defense companies are building more plants right now than at any point in history. They're building plants for the Patriots, for the Tomahawks, for everything. But we have certain types of munitions which are very, they may not be as accurate, they may not be, they're not as elite. We have elite too, but we're watching that very closely. But we have certain types which are very powerful and very good, and we have an unlimited supply, and so we're in great shape. But with that being said, we always want more. We have to have more. We have other things maybe come up, and maybe don't come up. Hopefully nothing else does come up. But we're in very good shape. We have literally massive amounts of ammunition. Yeah.
Mr. President, on Ukraine, President Zelensky says his country desperately needs long-range missiles or those Patriot missile batteries. Is that something that you're...
Well, I mean, we want missiles too. When Biden gave him so much, Biden gave $300 billion worth of ammunition. When I left, it was full, and he gave a lot of it away. Now we're rebuilding it, and we're using munitions that are very powerful, very good, but we wouldn't have been using them. We could have used something else. But these are a little bit older type, equally as effective, and it's things that we have so much. Plus, we have supplies of munitions all over the world that if we ever needed them, we'd take that. We're supplied all over the world, but we're in very, very good shape.
Russia seems to have increased their attacks on
I know.
Oh, my God.
Well, look, we're not involved from the standpoint of we're separated by an ocean. But I hate to see 25,000 young people a month get killed, and that's what's happening. Between Russia and Ukraine, they're losing on average 25,000, mostly soldiers, a month. And, we're working on it, and I think we're making progress, but it's a violent, very violent war. There's a lot of hatred in that war, a lot of hatred between the two leaders. I settled 8 wars. I thought this would be maybe one of the easier ones, and it turned out to be the most difficult. But progress is being made. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.
Thunderbolt Hall lightning has killed grown men in one strike. I caught it with my bare hand, and I have no idea how. 24 hours ago, I was a dead beast cripple everyone called a predator. Today, the rules of this world...
Two-term Republican Congressman Andy Ogles, a member of the Conservative Freedom Caucus, who had the backing of President Trump, lost his primary race to Charlie Hatcher, a former state agriculture commissioner. Ogles was running in a new congressional district after Republicans redrew state lines earlier this year. Allie, Andy Ogles is a guy who, let's just say, always looked at a situation and wondered, what's the worst possible thing I could say about this? Complete fealty to President Trump in every statement he ever made. He said Muslims don't belong in America. Homosexuality has no place in America. We can go down the list, continue to deny that the 2020 election was legitimate. There's so much there, and it appears, like many of his Republican colleagues, voters in Tennessee had seen enough.
Yeah, wondered what's the worst thing you could say in this situation, and likely said the thing. One of the most MAGA-aligned members in this House Republican conference was backed by the president, is the same person, in addition to all the controversial things that you just mentioned, is the person who tried to sponsor an amendment, or rather a resolution that would allow the president to run for a third term. I mean, it does not get more MAGA and more Freedom Caucus than Andy Ogles, and yet in this new district that was redrawn at the behest of Republicans, lost his primary. And I think it's notable when you consider, and at the end of primary season, we'll be able to take a more holistic look of this, of what the impact of being MAGA.
But you know what? I play that Fox News shit just to show these motherfuckers that they can't even keep up with this bullshit.
In the new maps looks like, but also being MAGA in a period of time where Trump is, and he won't want to hear this, and Republicans might not want to hear this either, he will be a lame duck. And so what does the party do as it tries to navigate that post-Trump period, even as he is still in the Oval Office? And so I think this is yet another reminder of the fact that there is a pretty...
Bro, what's his fucking name? Spud. That's exactly what we expect you to do, bitch. We're not surprised that you acting like a bitch. That's status quo. That's what the fuck you do. Y'all some bitches. Y'all some pedo protectors. Y'all a whole bunch of whack ass shit. So don't think that you're surprising us by telling us you ain't doing nothing. So fucking what? You a weak individual. That's what the fuck you are. Insecure, pink little bitch.
Heavy strain of resentment towards people currently serving in Washington, something we track on the Democratic side, something we track on the Republican side as well. This could be an outcome of that, in addition to the kind of lawmaker and elected official that Ogles has been on the public stage.
You know what? They're starting to. They are starting to. For whatever reason. I don't know why. But they definitely starting to.
And the Trump endorsement is not automatically win you a race, as we saw in Tennessee last night. Meanwhile, 2 Republican mayors from deep red areas of Georgia are crossing party lines to endorse Democratic Senator Jon Ossoff. The mayors told the Atlanta Journal-Constitution they decided to back Ossoff in his Senate race because his work in their communities and push to increase federal resources outweighs any partisan loyalties they have. Imagine that. Both mayors represent some of the most conservative parts of Georgia. President Trump won both areas by double digits in 2024. Meanwhile, in Ohio, voters there expressing frustration with rising gas and energy prices driven up by the president's war in Iran. MS Now reporter Alex Tabbitt spoke with some Trump voters in the northeastern part of Ohio.
What if you had just about any health and wellness product you need right in your pocket? We sell over 50,000 of your...
Is this how you expected the second Trump term to go?
No, not at all. I hoped it was going to be so much better.
He also promised no new foreign wars. We're obviously in this war in Iran, which is why we're seeing the gas prices so high. What do you make of the president not keeping those campaign promises?
He just told us what we wanted to hear to vote him back in.
What would your message be to him about the economy right now, about prices, about day-to-day life?
I would tell him, you promised us you would lower prices, bring back what it used to be.
I was hoping that gas was going to go down so I could do something, you know. You can't do anything with gas prices and...
K-Cell, what it do?
You can't afford to breathe at this point.
Are you regretting your vote right now?
I have. The past 2 years, yeah, I have. I'm actually not even voting the next time.
Hear a mother at a gas pump saying you can't afford to breathe anymore. Joining the conversation, Chief White House Correspondent for the New York Times, Peter Baker, and MS Now National Affairs Analyst John Howman. He's partner and chief political columnist at Puck. Guys, good morning. Peter, let me start with you. This is a president. The White House tries to put him out there at an event in Las Vegas to talk about affordability, trying to emphasize some of the popular items like no tax on tips and things like that. But as always, that event just turns into a meandering campaign rally talking about his grievances, his enemies, and all of the rest of it. This is not a president who's ever going to be laser focused on affordability because until the war with Iran comes to some kind of a conclusion, it feels pretty intractable for him, does it not?
Yeah, I think it does. You know, look, affordability, he says, is a hoax. It's a made-up Democratic hoax, he likes to say. But look, yeah, I think the thinking in the White House is they recognize, obviously, that he is down in the polls. That's a drag on the ticket. He told our friends at Jake Sherman at Punch Bowl that, you know, him not being on the ticket this year, not being on the ballot this year will hurt other Republicans. But the theory of the case is if he can get some sort of resolution of the Iran war, it almost doesn't matter what, as long as he can say it's over and gas prices start to head back down, that people will think a little bit more kindly toward him. They'll be more willing to give him a second chance. But the voter you just showed who says, I voted for him, I regret my vote, and I'm not going to vote this year. That's the real worry for Republicans. It's not that they think that Trump voters are going to suddenly become, Democrats or vote for, Al Sayed and Michigan. They're just not going to show up, right? They're not going to show up because they're upset about what's happened. They're not going to show up because Trump excites them, but maybe the rest of the party doesn't. That's the real worry, is finding a way to motivate them. And that's why they're going to talk a lot about socialism and communism and so forth in order to try to give MAGA voters a reason to turn out.
Yeah, and John Heilemann, let's explore that a little further. I mean, they're attacking the usual cultural war issues. They are indeed trying to create a red scare and mixing up the terms communism and socialism. But the fundamentals are these elections, and midterms in particular, are so often decided on the economy. And it's not just that things haven't gotten better. Voters look at the White House and they see no effort being made from the president to either understand how they feel or to try to fix it. And in fact, his signature moves, the Iran war, tariffs, just to name two, have only made their lives more expensive.
Yeah, you can't overstate the importance of the point that Peter just made a second ago about, and this is, if you want to talk the language of strategists and pollsters, you talk about enthusiasm and the enthusiasm gap. You look at just to take the most recent example, what happened in those Michigan primaries on Tuesday, where about 1 million Republicans voted and about 1.5 million Democrats voted. I'm not like a mathematician, but that's a very wide gap between Democrats who wanted to get out and cast a vote and Republicans who did. And that has been the part of the pattern that we've seen over the last 18 months, where Democratic turnout off the charts, Republican turnout poor, weak. And it's August. The notion that, and I understand Peter's reporting about what the theory of the case is in the White House is correct, but it's a delusional theory. You could open the Strait of Hormuz and end the Iran war today, and gas prices are not going to. They will maybe go down a tiny little bit, but the problem with inflation across the board, we have this global supply chain. It's going to take months for the disruptions from the war to work through the system. So you're going to be looking overall at high prices all the way through to November. There's no way to turn that back. And I think that in combination with what you heard in that piece from our reporter there.
Diesel is almost $6 and all of the food travels by way of diesel. So yeah, we can talk about $3.89 and $4 and shit, but diesel is almost $6. Ain't shit coming down until diesel come down.
Which is those voices are not unrepresentative. What you can hear in all the 50 states from the vast majority of voters, which is the economy's terrible. They understand it's terrible. And when Donald Trump gets up and pretends and says that he's an A++++++, it's the greatest economy in the history of the world, they can see for themselves and feel in their lives how totally out of touch and completely unmotivated he is to try to help them. And that is the kiss of death politically for the president's party, which has no independent economic agenda aside from Trump's, and he has no economic agenda. It is just about as bad a set of circumstances as a in-power party could have going into a midterm election.
Donald Trump is having a catastrophic Friday. We just got one of the worst jobs reports in recent history, although all of the jobs reports under the Trump regime have been pretty bad. So Donald Trump right now is doing social media post after social media post saying, I won the war, a must read, I'm the winner, Iran lost. I'll get to that in a moment, but let's look at this horrible jobs report. The U.S. economy lost 23,000 jobs in July, way below the expectations of around 80,000 to 90,000 jobs were expected to be gained in the month of July. Also, major revisions in May and June. May and June reports were revised down by a combined 103,000 jobs, so 103,000 less than what was previously reported. The unemployment rate right now is 4.1%. Wage growth right now is 3.2%, with annualized inflation 3.5% year over year. And the only reason why it's 3.5% is because the Memorandum of Understanding temporarily brought it down from the 4s. But I think that's going to go back up very soon as well to around 4%, 4.1% year over year inflation, which means that the wage growth is not growth at all. It's being absolutely crushed by inflation. So people don't have any money to spend. It's why they're tapping into their savings, and why you also see so many people on the brink of bankruptcy here in the United States. We have the lowest labor force participation rate since February 2021. And if you just look at the grim picture over the past 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, and the average job gains overall since Trump's took office, I mean, we are at basically no job gains at all. Or, in many cases and in many sectors, we're in job recession territory. I mean, you can just see all of the negative printouts right here, all the, red. You don't want to be below that horizontal line right there when it comes to job creation. So with this horrible jobs report, what are they saying on state regime media? How is Fox trying to spin this? It's ridiculous. Fox is saying this is great. This means that corporations will be able to make more money because they're shedding jobs. It helps their bottom line, and it may at least temporarily stop the Federal Reserve from raising interest rates, because you may need to lower interest rates or keep interest rates the same in order to try to spur job creation, although companies are not using the better lending ability to actually bring on more jobs. They're actually using it to build out data centers and to build out tech that replaces workers like AI. But here's what they're saying on Maria Bartiromo's show this morning. It's really offensive and disgusting. And this is what people just completely hate about this Trump regime and these oligarch domination of the United States. Let's play this clip.
Again, a disappointing jobs report. Dow futures way up, doubling where they were before. I'm going to continue to dig through to tell you where the jobs are and are not, Maria.
All right. Thank you, Lauren. 23,000 jobs lost in the month of July. Louis, you wanted a weak report. You got it. Was this too weak?
No, not at all. When Palantir announced their earnings, they basically had record earnings by decreasing their sales force. So there's this AI productivity boom underway. And it's obvious what's happening. But no, this is great news. That's why the market's up. And now the Fed has an unemployment mandate. And so this is great news. And obviously, a lot of people disappeared from the workforce if the unemployment rate.
More from state regime media here. As these numbers were being revealed, Maria Bartiromo and her co-hosts on this show refer to what's taking place as the Goldilocks story. So with this horrible jobs report, right, they're calling it Goldilocks, meaning just right. It's perfect. This is exactly what we wanted. Folks, these people are really sickos. They're really vile. They're really evil. I'm not trying, this isn't like a debate. No, these are evil humans who hate us, and they hate you. Here, watch this for yourself. It's crazy. Here, play this clip.
Yep. And we also have revisions actually for June and other revisions. Lauren, did you have those numbers?
Revisions for June, Maria, down by 37,000. May down by 66. Combined 103,000 fewer jobs created in the months of May and June, Maria.
Yeah. And that is all about the market reaction today is all about what this means for the Federal Reserve. Louis Navillaire, how do you want to allocate capital in this environment where, once again, we're talking about Goldilocks, a Goldilocks macro story?
Yeah, the last I looked, FactSet was forecasting 47.4% annual earnings growth for the S&P this year, but that was before Palantir's blowout results. So we might hit 50% earnings growth on the S&P right now. That's unbelievable, and you just can't ignore all these good earnings.
In contrast, look at what's going on in Canada. Canada added 75,000 new jobs in July, and its unemployment rate is the lowest in 2 years. And the Canadian stock market is doing good too. You could do both at the same time, growing at a significantly higher percentage than here in the United States. As Donald Trump says, oh, the Canadians are nasty, they're nasty. 51st state. Canada is being led by someone who's a former central banker, lead central banker in Canada and in England, and he is running the country efficiently. And that's not to say there aren't issues. That's not to say it isn't hard. That's not to say the tariffs don't hurt everybody, including Canada. But he's doing his best and he's being transparent with the people and he's behaving like a grown-up. How about that? Here you have Kevin Hassett not behaving like a grown-up. He's Trump's national economic advisor. And this guy's like the biggest liar. You've seen this scumbag before. I show you, a lot of videos with him. So he comes out after all these horrible reports and he just tries to act like, well, actually, we had 100,000 jobs we gained. The only reasons you see these loss, he says, is government jobs were lost, illegal immigrants. We cut down on illegal immigrants, he said, and we've lost hospitality jobs because the World Cup is over now. Really? That's you expect us to believe this crap? Here, play this clip.
Jobs number is out for July. Employers are cutting 23,000 jobs last night. That's well below the number we were expecting to add, about 80,000. Unemployment rate did drop lower, 4.1%. Let's get a take on that now from the White House. Kevin Hassett, National Economic Council Director. Sir, good day to you, and thank you for coming back here.
Great to be here.
Just give me how do you read it? Strength, weakness. Go.
Yeah, so the strength is what we've seen before: construction workers, manufacturing workers, and so on. The weakness in this number were really just two things: government workers and a sort of rebound from all the employment we got from the World Cup, because the World Cup was ending. And so if you throw out the World Cup and the government workers, we actually had a number that was about plus 100,000, which is about what we...
As I noted at the outset, more posts from Donald Trump 12 hours ago, 2 hours ago. He's posting this repeatedly. A must read. Donald Trump won the war in Iran. So that's where we're at. Do you realize how embarrassing this is for our country? I mean, think about what Iran thinks when they see Donald Trump post things like that. Trump won the Iran war. What do you think China thinks? What do you think Putin thinks? What do you think Kim Jong-un thinks? What do you think Xi Jinping of China thinks? I'll tell you what MBS in Saudi Arabia thinks. Saudi Arabia just entered into a military alliance with Turkey. They already had one with Pakistan, and they announced any strike on Saudi Arabia is a strike on Turkey and Pakistan in order to try to deter the Houthis, because the Saudis believe they were protected by the U.S. security umbrella, which doesn't exist anymore. So now they need Turkey's help and Pakistan's help in order to try to stave off a Houthi attack within Saudi Arabia. People view the U.S. as so utterly weak and unreliable. I mean, what do you even think the European Central Bank thinks when Treasury Secretary Besant unloaded all of these euros in order to prop up the Japanese yen without even telling the European Central Bank? I mean, just think the U.S. screwed over the European Central Bank, sold all of these euros to fund billions of dollars to prop up the Japanese yen, to prevent the Japanese from selling American treasuries so that the yen doesn't fully collapse. It's like the craziest Ponzi scheme, and everybody sees it. And our corporate news is like, oh, it's Goldilocks. It's just right. It's Goldilocks. Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, who couldn't even run a small veterans nonprofit group without mismanaging it. And now he's in charge of the Defense Department, and he's calls it the Department of War. He posts, Trump won the Iran war. It's so damn pathetic. It's so damn pathetic. Trump gave an interview with Punchbowl. That's a news entity that covers Capitol Hill. And Donald Trump's main point on this Punchbowl interview, data centers in everybody's backyard. That we need to put a data center right in your backyard, right in your community. It's liquid gold. If you want to be rich, Trump says, listen to him, you better have a data center. It means lower taxes for you. It means better quality of life. You need a data center in your backyard, as Donald Trump is invested in all of these data center and data center adjacent companies. He's such a sick, vile piece of, you know what I'm going to say, trash. Play this clip.
Data centers going. So if I were a governor, I would want data centers so badly. I'll cut taxes. I mean, taxes are going to go way down because this is a tremendous source of income.
Two more quick questions.
And we can't let China beat us at this. You know, a lot of people think that the campaign that's being put on is being paid for by China.
A lot of people
and
do.
We have President Xi coming here in a couple of weeks, and we're going to have a great time, but I'm going to talk to him about it. But I don't blame him. You know, we do things and they do things. But a lot of people think that because they are losing to us in AI.
More on Donald Trump saying data centers need to be put everywhere. Let's play this clip.
I saw Texas the other day sort of is against data centers. I think it's a mistake. And I'm not taking positions, or I just think it's a mistake because there are other communities that want it. When a community wants it, it means a lot of money is going to come into that community.
Unsightly, potentially.
Well, I don't think they're unsightly. I mean, I'm looking at some of these data centers, the most incredible buildings I've ever seen. They go for 2.5, 3 miles. They're 3 miles by 3 miles.
They're necessary for the technology.
Well, but I think they are tremendously important for the economics. I mean, this is for Texas to say no to data centers is a mistake in the sense that it could be bigger than oil. I mean, data centers could be bigger than oil. You have the Texas oil, and there are a lot of communities that want to.
And then Trump was asked a question about all of his stock trades, enriching himself to billions of dollars, giving himself tax immunity. And Trump's like, I don't know any of that. My little boys handle that. My little kids. You know how he treats Eric and Don Jr. like they're some like little children running around? These are grown adults who are clearly involved, in my opinion, in these various machinations and schemes with Donald Trump. They're good kids. They're good kids. If Donald Trump says they're good kids, we know that these are the worst, most vile, sick things. And they carry the sickest, most disgusting last name imaginable that will go down in history to be the most despicable, stained word imaginable, Trump. Here, play this clip.
But they want to do a bill. And in the bill, they want me to be different than everybody else. So
you're against that, it would sound like.
Well, I don't mind putting it in a blind trust. I don't run my stuff anyway. I let my kids run it. And I never talk to them about things. If they want to go into, they're not involved in government. I don't talk to them about government. I don't talk to them about much other than to say, I love you kids. You know, they're good kids. But, we don't want to see China take over crypto. I don't want to see China win with AI.
Now, I found this notable as well. This didn't get a lot of attention. That Trump will be hosting mining CEOs as the regime seeks minerals for defense supply chains. They're doing a mining CEO meeting right now. That's what they're doing, mining CEOs. While the American people are in a jobs recession, the mining CEOs are coming to town. And the regime media says that we're in a Goldilocks economy and things could not be any better right now. Let me show you this clip of Trump before I get into this article where he says the economy, he should get a 150% mark, that the economy is not just 100%, it's 150% good. Here, let me just play this, and then I'll go into the mining CEOs. Here, play this clip.
Yeah. And it's because of me. Biden was against all this. I don't think Biden had any idea what it was. But our country right now is doing better than it's ever done. You know, when I see polls on the economy, I should have 150%, not 100%.
Well, yeah.
Because we have the greatest, this is the golden age of America. What's being built now in this country has never, ever been built. And we are literally in the golden age of America. And
you know, it's notable though, when I looked at this mining CEO article in Ground News, and it's being mostly covered on the right. And by the way, this is one of the reasons that I use Ground News. And it's a research tool that I use every morning when I prepare these videos. And they're probably the best tool I use to help me stay objective in my reporting. You see, Ground News is an app and a website that pulls in thousands of articles from around the world. It organizes them by story to show you how the left, center, and right are framing the story differently. It shows you if corporate conglomerates are behind the story, if independent media is behind the story. It lets you compare reporting on the same issue in one place from different sources so you can draw your own conclusions. Like in the article I just shared with you, I was surprised there's no one on the left covering that these mining CEOs are heading to the White House at the same time Trump has just made our economy as horrible as it's been with this horrific jobs recession taking place. I think that contrast deserves the right amount of attention. Ground News has this dedicated blind spot feed. It's a personal favorite of mine, which highlights stories being disproportionately covered on either side of the political aisle. Look, I believe in Ground News so much, and I use it so much, we're going to offer you 40% off the same Vantage plan that I use for my research. So just go click the link in the description or go to ground.news/MTN or scan the QR code up here. It's one of the biggest discounts they've ever offered. If you want to support this channel and get a clearer understanding of the world, try out Ground News. Go to ground.news/MTN or you can hit that QR code. Now, in that same interview with Punchbowl, Donald Trump said, Iran is begging to make a deal. They're begging to make it. But I thought you won, Donald. Haven't you been posting that you won? Here, play this clip.
Guys like that get in, they'll destroy this country.
You said yesterday, you just talked about Nevada. You said yesterday gas prices, correct me if I'm wrong, they might go up again a little bit. You said.
No, that's only if I have to do another hit.
Okay, so I mean,
they'll only go down, or if we make a deal, they want to make a deal. They want to make a deal. Look, it's obvious. They don't want to be hit. Okay, they want to make a deal. So we'll see.
Because you're seeing. And now Treasury Secretary Bessent is out there saying, you know what? We don't even need the Strait of Hormuz anymore. He says, in just a few years, the Strait of Hormuz will just be another body of water. And I would say that more than 50 or 70% of the energy is now going through underground pipeline. So this is how they surrender. This is how they change the goalposts, right? So now the Strait of Hormuz doesn't even matter, right? Because Iran and Oman are about to make a deal where Iran controls the strait. Nah, it's just another waterway. We don't even need it. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. Do you see how these con artists, these Bernie Madoff, these scammers act? Now we don't even need the Strait of Hormuz. It's just a body of water. We don't even need the Red Sea. It's just a body of water. We don't need any straits. The Strait of Gibraltar. We don't need any straits. Okay. We may have needed straits in the prior administration, but now we're beyond straits because we figured we all have a plan and don't actually look at the data, which shows that jobs are being lost. Let's just say we're.
So the dumbass who watches their shows like this, or even like this while you're driving, you're an idiot because the whole time you could have been watching on your car's screen. And
really bad news for Trump. Not only does he not get to have his ballroom, they blocked that shit, but they also said, hey, Blanche, bring your bitch ass in and explain to us why the fuck you did not get us the Epstein stuff we told you to get us, because we are the federal court and we don't give a fuck how badass you think you are. You about to lose your license and your freedom. And sure enough, he's sitting there trying to find a way to wiggle out and wiggle around this. And then dumbass Trump come up with an example. Really bad news for Trump. Not only does he not get to have his ballroom, they blocked that shit, but they also said, hey, Blanche, bring your bitch ass in and explain to us why the fuck you did not get us the Epstein stuff we told you to get us, because we are the federal court and we don't give a fuck how badass you think you are. You about to lose your license and your freedom. And sure enough, he's sitting there trying to find a way to wiggle out and wiggle around this. And then dumbass Trump come up with an executive order over the Supreme Court. He thinks that he's going to say, I'm going to end birthright citizenship. And quite frankly, he ain't ending a motherfucking thing. They're trying everything they can in every crooked way they can to go ahead and not only steal the election, not only take this shit away, but also put themselves in jelly jail. They're gonna be jelly. Understand this. Our court system is slow as fuck, but it's definite. And that shit is coming for this motherfucker. Stop believing this half-ass stupid shit that he's doing. You gotta understand something. Because I get tired of explaining this to trolls. Trolls come in, and now they got the black trolls. The black trolls come at me all over. All of a sudden, these black Trumpers are showing up as black trolls. You know damn well there's some body black trolls coming in. BBT, Bobby Black Trolls, body black trolls who coming in and say, no, you're wrong. Nothing in what you said is right, and it's horrible. It's all get out, and you don't know nothing. Yeah. These were the same type of people who were screaming at me about Project 47. Remember that project? Agent 47, Project 47, Project 3747, hut. They said, no, there is no Agenda 2026. It's Project 37, and they're misusing it. And I'm like, bitch, please, y'all really falling for that shit? Here's the thing. Out of all of this, you see that I've made jokes and I find it entertaining because they're fucking with 10 groups of people.
Have you heard about pop-in windows? We need 50 homeowners in your area to trial this radically simple new window replacement service. Get this, at no cost to try. This service is part of a program they're running to connect homeowners with professional pop-in window technicians in your area. Pop-in windows are the latest innovation in new window installation. They are beautiful and so easy to install. And get this, they don't even have to touch the exterior of your house to install them. They can just pop these in a day. It's
who I mention all the time here now on my channel that are there fighting. Governors, attorney generals, nonprofits, ACLU, and a whole bunch of other ones, and judges on the lower courts and appeal courts, which handle 99%. The legal community that's doing pro bono to fight every area of Trump that he's standing up on. The independent, I call them independent Congress, because Schumer and Jeffries suck, but you got a whole bunch of other ones like Raskin, Rowe, Connor, Summer Lee, Ayanna Pressley, a whole bunch of people who are fighting and ready to go into the new year fighting. And then you got the intelligence community, CIA, NSA, FBI, and some other three-letter names who are looking into everything and providing information to the independent people and what's going to be the Congress for the 120th Congress for 2027 on, who's getting ready to fuck them up. And then you have the election officials in blue and red states who's standing on business like they were in 2020. They're trying to pressure them, but at the same time, they're clapping back. And then you got the county and parish presidents out there who are fighting like crazy, who are just standing on business. And then you got the blue mayors who are out there who are doing their thing, across the country as well as in red states, because all of the major cities in red states, including their two biggest, Florida and Texas, are blue. And then you have the shadow docket. Well, that's what I call it. It's a combination of several of these people and some other interesting people who rather remain nameless and ambiguous and hidden. Why? Because if they're unknown, they can't get hit by the Trump administration, and the Trump administration is pretty stupid anyway, so they don't know they're unknown. Like the time that the Federal Reserve snuck up and voted themselves in early just in case Trump tried to fuck with them this year. And they snuck that shit in. And people understand policy more than Trumpers. Policy is what has been saving us. Deny, delay, deflect policy. The same policy that if we show up in the polls in November, they can use policy to write around the Supreme Court ruling, taking the black vote. I want you to understand that there are people, and I've said this for almost 20 months now, who are fighting on your behalf. Just because you don't see them don't mean it's there. You know that they're not there. Absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. Because evidence of absence is an absence of evidence. And if you take evidence and absence together, okay, I'm confusing myself now. But the point is, it ain't over, bitches. It ain't over. We're gonna win. We're gonna win. They ain't the boss of us. He suffers from diabetes. He is fool. And the rest of these fools. LMP, baby. I'm gonna get some shirts made. Y'all think I should I'm gonna get me some shirts and sell them. Y'all think y'all could support me with a shirt? LMP. I can't use the Trump name by law. You can't, do that. But I can go LMP, and most of y'all know what that means. Well, what does LMP stand for? Lies, manipulations, and projected authority he doesn't have. Or ESGN. Do ESGN. Epstein, subsidies, gerrymandering, no kings. All right. I'm always coming with some acronyms and some sayings. Which ones would y'all like a t-shirt for? Tell me, put it in the comments. Which ones would y'all like a t-shirt for? Because understand, I'm coming with some merch, baby. I'm coming with some merch. That, and I'm going to open up a Clarity store. I'm opening up a Clarity store for Clarity reports talking about clarity. Speaking of clarity, that's another thing they failed on. The Clarity Act, which had nothing to do with the Clarity Group or anything I'm doing with Clarity. But Clarity Act, they wanted to do some corruptive crypto shit. They wanted to take the monitoring and the power out the SEC and put it into an independent agency that they control. They didn't have the votes in Senate for that. And the pressure came from nonprofits like Indivisible, who was just reporting on that via email. Good for them. Big up to Leah and Ezra. There's a lot of fights that are happening on many fronts, as you could imagine. And I want you to begin to imagine that you're not alone. I want you to begin to imagine we're in this by the hundreds of millions of people, and that you're not alone, and that people are fighting. And stop asking, why isn't somebody doing something? Start asking, who is doing something? Because there are people. Don't assume. Think it through. Don't react. Think. His LMPs, lies, manipulation, projecting authority, is designed to make you react, feel, not think. It's a psychological narrative warplay that he does all the time. And the moment you realize it, the moment you deprogram, or as I call it, decode Trump, so that you can identify data that's real, that I've given you today, for instance, so that you can develop a better you that reacts not only to what's going on, but think about what you want to do in the next 29 months. And I ain't talking about democracy, motherfuckers. I'm talking about you. Fuck these motherfuckers. Do the best you can for them, but do the best you can for you. The difference being you contribute to them, but you don't control them. We contribute to our democracy, we control ourselves. You can't decide your life based upon what this country decides to do. You still gotta do for you. In the words of Outkast, you and I gotta do for you and I. Get your shit straightened out. Don't freak out about this. It's very bad news for Trump. It's gonna be more bad news for Trump, and he's going down. And remember, as I always say, he didn't win. He's not winning now. He's on the list. The list is coming out. And if he doesn't die first, he's going to jail. And he's going to have company.
Want to feel cute and comfortable during pregnancy? This maternity set feels soft, breathable, and easy to wear. Adjustable straps and a back bow add a sweet touch. The flowy top and stretchy shorts move with your growing bump. Perfect for home, errands, or a sunny getaway.
Stephen Miller's going to jail, guaranteed. And I'm going to walk you through it because there are 4 things that are going to catch him up. But it's the 4th thing that most people have not talked about or even carried on about. So let's talk about it. The first thing I want you to understand is that Stephen Miller is the closest advisor, other than Susie Wiles, to Donald Trump. Now, this is going to get interesting because as I walk through this, I'm going to give you a perspective nobody else has given you before, because it's not about breaking news. It's about context, what it means to us as liberals and what the perspective is. So I'm going to walk through perspective. We're going to go through perspective, and we're going to get a clear idea of how this man's going to jail and how he's going to help Trump get in jail even deeper. Okay, so let's go. First of all, we got to look at the first term of Trump. There are people who went to jail, who turned against Trump, who realized that he's a pariah. And the idea that Trump is a hot mess is something that catches up everybody in the first term. Now, you would think the second term would look at the first term and be like, oh shit, we can't be fucking with him. But no, there are 2 advisors that are the closest to Donald Trump. It is Susie Wiles, the White House Chief of Staff, which should be that, because any White House Chief of Staff should be the closest. And then there's Stephen Miller, who's special White House counsel, whatever, right? But there's 3 things that are catching him up. Actually, 4. And the 4th thing is the thing that's going to get him the best. The first thing is Epstein. Yes, he's actually advising Epstein. I mean, we've heard about J.D. Vance and other people coming in giving advice on on Epstein and what to do. And these fools were meeting in the Situation Room. Now, I want you to think about that for a minute. How the fuck do we know that people in the White House are meeting in the Situation Room when there's no press around? Who's snitching? We'll get back to that in a minute. Then we want to talk about the fact that they're afraid that all of this stuff is going to come out. I mean, he's been very good at holding it from coming out. But the problem is this: you don't have Bondi anymore. That was stupid. Bondi was better at holding water than Blanche. And that was really stupid to let her go. That's why you brought her back in to be the liaison between the White House and the billionaires, which is kind of a cushy job compared to the bullshit she has to deal with and now Blanche has to deal with. And Blanche, I'm hoping, gets confirmed because he's going to shove him and Trump straight down the crapper right along with Stephen Miller. But it's going to get even better as we look even deeper into this, because when you see that they got an Epstein Transparency Act 2.0, you heard about that? There's a possibility it could get passed this year, but
I deposited $400,000 from my life insurance policy into my checking account, and I'm very much alive. 6 months ago, I got the call no one wants. Heart attack at 42. My world stopped. Here's the truth. You're 3 times more likely to suffer a critical illness during your working years than you are to die. Within weeks, I couldn't work. But my mortgage didn't care. My kids' expenses didn't stop. I watched our savings disappear faster than I thought possible. It was a truly frightening experience. Thankfully, I had a life insurance product most people don't even know exists. It's called life insurance with living benefits. Critical illness, chronic condition, even a terminal diagnosis, you can unlock up to 100% of your policy value tax-free. One phone call later, $400,000 hit my account. It was a moment of immense relief and gratitude. Instead of losing everything, I was fighting this illness without losing our home or compromising on my family's quality of life. Right now, while you're still healthy, you can check what you qualify for in less than 2 minutes. It's a simple, quick process. Click below, and if you qualify, a licensed agent with access to over 80 carriers will help find the best plan for you. Don't wait until you get that call. By then, it's too late. Act now to secure your future. Click below now to get started. Your peace of mind is just a click away.
What does it take to turn the dream of becoming a pilot for United Airlines into a reality? Let's go behind the scenes at ATP to find out. Today, I'm at United Airlines in Denver to explore the United Aviate pathway for aspiring pilots. How do you become a pilot for United Airlines?
There are multiple pathways to becoming a pilot at United Airlines. We have our traditional first officer hiring. We have our Aviate program as well as our military program. So let's talk about our Aviate program today.
What makes the Aviate pathway so unique?
The Aviate pathway is a fantastic program in which an individual with their commercial license can apply to United Airlines and receive their conditional job offer early in their career. They still have to go through our transition requirements. They still have to continue to build their flight experience, but they have the security of knowing they will become a pilot at United once they have met those requirements.
Why has United chosen ATP as an Aviate participating flight school?
It is the largest flight school in the country. It has a great reputation, and it was one of our original partnering programs in the very beginning of Aviate. So it is a fantastic program to go through.
Let's hear from Ashley at ATP to learn how students are taking advantage of the United Aviate program. How can ATP students become a part of the United Aviate program?
ATP is a Aviate participating professional flight training organization. And so what that means is a student training at ATP is eligible to apply to the Aviate program as soon as they possess a commercial pilot certificate with an instrument rating. From there, they will go through an interview process, and if successful, they receive a conditional job offer to United Airlines. Once they fulfill 1,200 hours as a captain, they are able to then meet the transition requirements for a first officer position at United Airlines.
How does the Aviate program give ATP students the competitive edge?
There are a number of benefits to the Aviate program. Aviate participants received a dedicated United pilot mentor. They also receive travel privileges. Furthermore, the biggest and most exciting benefit is Aviate is the most secure path to United Airlines. What that means is an Aviate participating pilot holds a conditional job offer for United. They're not subject to the ebbs and flows of competitive minimums that exist in the traditional first officer applicant pool. Beyond that, a Aviate participating pilot will receive a class state and start at United Airlines within 4 months of reaching transition minimums.
Why is ATP the top choice for airline-bound pilots?
ATP is the top choice for airline-bound pilots because the support network that a student receives in training at ATP is truly unmatched. ATP delivers a well-structured, fast-paced, airline-oriented training program coupled with an amazing team and some resources to support that student. ATP also has a dedicated career services team to assist in achieving their career goals. It helps them grasp the concept of how do I go from a student pilot to an airline pilot.
The Aviate program is the most secure path to United. Let's hear from Ryan, an ATP graduate, and how it helped him achieve his goal of flying for United.
My journey in aviation began years.
Let's play it like it doesn't. If it doesn't get passed, when will it get passed? Oh, I don't know. Maybe when we show up in November? See, here's the thing. January 3rd is going to be a big, big day in U.S. history because there's going to be a lineup for that ass. If they got it don't even have to be a super majority in the House or in the Senate, though I think the House will be, the Senate won't be. There are 22 spots up for, up for election, or up for election for the Republicans. And they're all targets, not ours, theirs. And they're putting $300 million into it. Elon Musk has freaked the fuck out and started putting hundreds of millions of dollars in it because he knows that shit he did with Doge is coming for his ass. People like Senator Elizabeth Warren is coming for him. They are targeting good old Elon. So they got a lot of financing. But what did we learn this past Tuesday? Financing means nothing. El Sayed had... He was outranked for Senate 10-1. He was outspent, and he beat the APOC queen. Oh, but it wasn't just him. Over here in Illinois, you had Juliana Stratton, who had $7 million, and Raj had 30-something million. You understand? Outspent, but they still lost because they won on people, they won on grassroots, and they won on hustling, and of course they won on platforms talking about what they're talking about. Now I'm going to bring this back to Stephen Miller in a moment. Here's the thing. This Epstein thing, 2.0 Transparency Act, is about to open up the doors and the gates of all hell on these people. Because one of the things they're working on is empowering the state's attorney generals to hold the DOJ responsible where by law they could fuck them up. Now, I'm going somewhere with this. Follow me. So where Stephen Miller comes in is he has tried in every way possible to block Epstein in every way possible. Like, for instance, the whole blocking of New Mexico, who's now suing Trump, is the person behind Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller. Man, I wonder who's snitching in the White House. Oh, we're getting there. So here's the thing. The second thing that can get them in trouble out the four things is the corruption. The corruption is ridiculous. From the wire transfers, the cash, to the crypto, to the meme coins, to everything.
He had $1 million app idea for 2 years, and the only thing stopping him was that he thought he couldn't build it. Okay, we got another caller. You're on. What's up?
Hey, yeah, so this is kind of embarrassing, but I've had this mobile app idea for like 2 years, and I've just never done anything with it because, I'm not a developer. I don't know how to code, so I just assumed it wasn't possible for me.
Wait, you've been sitting on an idea for 2 years because you thought you couldn't build it yourself?
Yeah, isn't that just kind of how it works? You need a developer. Or like a whole technical team to actually build an app.
Okay, I need to stop you because that's not true anymore. You don't need to code, you don't need a developer, you don't need a technical co-founder. That whole barrier is it's gone. Have you heard of Replit?
No.
Okay, so it's a free AI app builder. You literally just describe what you want and it builds it. The whole thing. Database, integrations, hosting, security, all included. Just for fun, I built one myself in like 3 prompts. And oh my God, the whole thing looked premium, like something you'd actually pay for.
I genuinely had no idea this existed.
Yeah, you've just had this idea the whole time and didn't know that the door was already open.
Okay, I feel like I wasted 2 years of my life right now.
Don't think about that. Just go download Replit while it's still free. Go build the thing tonight.
If anyone in this room found out what I was, I wouldn't make it out alive.
Quinn Talon, Squad 3. Is this a joke? Why is a level 1 on Squad 3?
300 heads turned to look at me. I froze. I wasn't a level 1. I was a vampire. And every ability user in this room had been trained to kill things like me.
Wait, hold on. The board just...
The auditorium went dead quiet as everyone watched the draft board scramble. Names flicker, and Quinn Talon reappear at the top.
Talon, Squad 3. Selection confidence, 100%.
It picked me, bugged out, and then picked me again. The system just exposed me. Everyone looked at me, more suspicious than ever.
There must be a mistake. He's a level 1.
That was Aaron Healy, Squad 3's captain. Level 5, the strongest cadet in our year. I'd had a crush on her since the first week of school. Not that it mattered. She didn't know I existed until the board put my name next to hers. No cruelty in her voice, just fact. But she'd said it loud enough for 300 people to hear. Great. First impression.
Quint Taylor, who's that?
Rex, level 4, flanked by his gangly lackey, Loop. He knew exactly who I was. He couldn't even be bothered to get my name right.
Every squad needs a weak link, I guess.
The room laughed. My face went hot. I started walking, head down. Vampires were hated in this world. Hunted. Ability users had been killing them for 1,000 years. And this academy was wall-to-wall with ability users. If anyone found out what I wasn't just expelled. I was dead. I was nearly level with Rex when he stepped into my path.
Well, I guess even the Academy makes mistakes. Good luck out there, mistake.
I looked Rex dead in the eye. Better a mistake than the guy who peaks at level 4. The laugh that moved through the room had a different edge. Not laughing with Rex anymore. Rex's grin vanished. His jaw tightened. He lunged for me. I wasn't looking at him. I didn't need to. I felt him shift his weight before he'd even lifted his hand. Then I was 2 feet to his left. There was no dodge, no flinch, no transition. I was in one place, and then I was in another, and the middle just wasn't there. Like someone had cut a frame out of reality. Rex's hands closed on air. He stumbled to one knee.
Did you see that? How did he... A level 1 can't move like that.
The whispering spread fast. Not laughter this time. Something else. 300 ability users had just felt something they couldn't name. Rex muttered something to Loop, and I felt it. The air shifting. An invisible force field locking around my body. Loop's ability. Telekinesis. It froze me in place like I'd been set in concrete. Inescapable for a level 1. I could shatter it with another step.
It's publicly traceable. It's publicly traceable, y'all. They ain't getting away with shit. It's publicly... No. It is publicly traceable. So he's about to get in big trouble.